The tight open formation in the Jets offensive playbook is one of the best offenses in all of Madden 26. You could mix this formation in with, I think, what is, arguably the best offense in the game. It's got bunch X nasty. It's got bunch tight end. It's got trips tight end offset with the RPO bubble. This RPO is really good because you can hot route it. It also has doubles flex wide close. Probably got the best doubles in the game. It has these really, really good red zone formations, a slot split close, and this wing slot weak with a ton of quarterback run options. So this playbook is just juiced. It's loaded. It's probably the best offense in the game right now. And tight open is a big, big part of that. Now, as far as this formation goes, one of the things you need to make sure you do, no matter what is in your coach adjustments, make sure this auto pass protection is on either base or empty protection. Either one of these are really good. I prefer empty for most of the ways that people blitz in this game. But if you're struggling blocking the blitz, you could throw this on base. Either one of these are normally a great starting point, but I normally go with empty. Now, as far as the audibles and the personnel for this scheme, really personnel, nothing super crazy here. You just want to have, in my opinion, fast receivers, right? Tall, fast receivers wherever possible. And then you want to have a good tight end. A good tight end is super important when running this offense. As far as audibles go for this scheme, the first audible that I think you have, because most of the time you're going to be audibling into this formation because it is kind of a mini scheme. But I would go with motion spot wide post. This is by far and away the best play in the formation. It has a short corner and a short post. It's just a really, really good play that we can kind of build a lot of the offense around. As far as the one run audible that I would recommend, I think slot or the speed option out of this is really good. So I like to have the speed option. If I ever, have a good look for the run, I'll be able to go to that. And then at this last spot here, this second to last spot, I like to play tight seams. Just a very versatile play. A lot you can do kind of around that play. And then the last one to me is spot X option. The reason I like spot X option so much is because it has two short corners on either side, and it has a good running back table route. You could put other plays in here. We're going to be going over other plays as well. If you wanted to run exclusively this formation, this play spacing has a really cool flat route. The drive stutter flat has the short corner on the outside receiver, which is a little bit better. And then you even have this play mesh spot with a really good running back wheel route. This play slot post with kind of that unique fade route are all good plays situationally. We're going to be going over them. But if I was choosing the audibles that I would recommend, that would be what I would do. This play verticals HB burst, also a very underrated play in this formation. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to come out in the bunch X nasty and just kind of explain how we like to run the offense. So what I typically do is I come out with my bunch to that wide side of the field, and then when I audible into tight open, what it's going to do is it's going to put my running back on the wide side. For the majority of the setups, you want to have this running back on the wide side of the field for the offense. The reason being is because if you have the running back on the short side of the field, then your flood combinations are all going to be messed up. Your cover two bombs aren't going to work properly. And so if we were ever on this hash, yes, there are some plays we can run, but ultimately these plays would work better if we flipped this and had our running back to the wide side of the field. Generally speaking, although there are some setups that you can run with your running back short side, this is how I would recommend running the offense. So that is kind of the hash mark you want to be on. Those are the audibles that I recommend. And then we'll just kind of show you some of the plays we're going to be going over. Now, again, and let me just go through and I'll just do random on defense and just show you how good this is. But, if we come out and I'll just come out in the tight open just to show it to you here. But this formation, it just has a lot of answers against a lot of different coverages. The plays pretty much always get open. You can get these plays open against literally any and everything that the defense is going to be doing. You have short corners, you have deep corners, you have slot fade routes. I mean, you literally just have answers for pretty much every single defense that you're going to face. So as we get into this offense, if you guys want to take your Madden game to the next level, make sure that you join our school community. That school community is going to be $10. It gets you access to all of my offensive and defensive ebooks, both for Madden and for college football. So if you're looking to take your game to the next level in either game, go ahead and sign up for our school community today at the link in the description down below. Motion spot wide post out of the tight open formation. And the way that we're going to set up this play, it's going to be great against both man and zone coverage. What we're going to do is we're just going to put a slot fade here on the outside left receiver. We're going to do a seam streak right here to our slot receiver. We're going to then do a return route on our outside receiver on the right, and we're going to put our running back here on a table route. So The read progression here is what we're really looking for is any kind of cover two to the left-hand side. We're going to be able to kind of read that side of the field first. We're going to be really just looking at those seam streaks. Then we're going to work our eyes backside to the post, really the high-low between the post and the return route. And then our running backs, really kind of our late read and really more of a zone killer in terms of pulling different zones. So anyway, if they run cover two, the main route that you're going to want to look for is the slot fade. As you can see right here, this is a really, really good way to be able to attack cover two. If they're not playing cover two soft squat with a matching principle, this is going to do a really, really good job against cover two. I'm going to show that again. And then also here, we're going to use a cloud flat so you can kind of see that it's a cover two beater as long as that cover two does not match. As you see right here, does a good job of being able to attack cover two. And then let's say that your opponent wants to play a little cover three cloud, for example, and they do an outside third here. If they do that outside third, this is why you want to look at that defender. If that defender is going super wide, then what you're going to see here is you're going to be able to hit this seam streak against like a cover three cloud type of look. That's why it's on the play. So as you see, he kind of expands, and then there's this inside pass lead. Of course, we're going to miss it. You can still throw the slot fade, by the way, which I'll cover that, but I want to show you here. Just depends a little bit on how they're actually using their yellow zones. But what you should be able to do here is you should be able to hit this seam streak kind of right. And I get crazy instant shedded. Man, shout out to practice mode. I mean, I'll tell you what, defense in practice mode is just the best. Let's actually show you the route. What you're really looking for, though, is you're just looking for this seam streak to kind of just get some nice seam space right there. Now, if that's happening to you, right, if for whatever reason you're just not able to throw it in that pocket, then that means that your slot fade is going to be there. So, but I have been able to throw the seam streak against cover three cloud. It just sometimes depends a little bit on obviously switch stick and things like that. But as you see there, shout out to Mahomes missing the throw. But we'll show it to you one more time, and I'm going to put a cloud there as well. Make it a little harder for me to hit this window. But typically, this slot fade here, right in that little pocket, and that's a cover three cloud. So he's going to be able to attack cover three cloud, cover two, either way. And then as far as like cover four drop or cover three or anything like that, there are some things that you can do with this play. So let's say you get like a cover four hard flat or something like that. You can throw this kind of back shoulder and kind of get it in a nice little spot. It's specific to like cover four and cover three hard flats. Let's say, for example, they play cover three kind of in this way right here. You're going to still be in a good spot to attack it because that seam streak is going to do a good job of just clearing out any kind of outside third. And you'll see that this thing just runs open in this little pocket. The best way for them to counter that is to basically not shade underneath. So when they don't shade underneath, you're going to see here that the curl flat is going to do a better job of being able to defend this. However, the curl flat is going to give up the return route. If you want a drag route, you certainly can do that as well. But basically here, you'll see this curl flat does a good job of kind of playing it. If you wait on it long enough, it will get open. It depends at that point on how they switch stick, right? Which we really, can't control how they're going to switch. So as far as the high-low over the middle of the field, obviously if they switch stick over to that side, that's going to leave this middle field high-low. And so then what you're going to be able to do is if those yellow zones kind of back up, you're going to be able to hit that little underneath route right there. And then if those yellow zones kind of stay down on the return route, then you're going to be looking for the short post. The short post is so good against man coverage, and it does a great job of attacking zone as well because of the fact that we're clearing out so much space. This little route is going to do a great job of attacking both man-to-man and zone coverage. This route also is really, really good against any kind of man coverage. So let's say, for example, that your opponent is running, two men under or whatever. You're going to have a lot of answers for two men under because this tight end route is normally they're not going to be able to press the tight end. And so that's going to be your main answer. And then your return route is really your check down. But I mean, look how open that tight end gets. Very easy way for you to be able to attack man coverage. And then let's say that the user is going to user the tight end in man coverage, like through a mid read or something like that. Then your return route is going to kind of be your check down read. You'll see here, he kind of just gets open late in the play, and it's a great little check down read for your offense. The next setup of the play motion spot Y post is going to be to flat route our outside right receiver here, seam streak the running back. As you see, it looks kind of like this right here. And then on the left-hand side, what we're going to do is we're going to seam streak that slot receiver, and then we're going to use a return route on the outside receiver. So essentially what this is doing is it's going to create a really nice high-low read over the middle of the field. And then also you're going to have this like kind of quick throw flat if they're not hard flatting. So the way that I like to read this, I like to look at the flat route first. I then like to get to the left-hand side here and see if I can get the streak or the post. Then I like to take a look at the running back. And then lastly, kind of my check down read is going to be the return route in the middle of the field. So always look out here quick. If I can throw this quick flat, I'm going to throw it. What that's going to do is that's going to force them to have to shade down. When they start to shade down, then they're going to have, we're going to have a lot of opportunity in this play. As you see, that post gets in a nice little spot against a variety of different defenses. It's what makes this offense, I think, super, super good, is having access to that post. And then let's say, for example, that they don't shade underneath. Well, maybe they just hard flat or whatever. Your running back can actually be thrown in the short seam area of the field, right in that little pocket. Hopefully it doesn't fumble, but it can be thrown right there. And then the other area that your running back can be thrown on is going to be over the top of the yellow. So if the yellows come down like this, then your running back can be thrown kind of in front before he gets to the safety. So it gives you a lot of answers with how people like to play zone. And then the other thing that's really nice about this is if the user goes high to take the post, then your backside return route, it's going to be a great little check down read to be able to check down. And then let's say late in the play, your opponent kind of falls off the post and goes to the return route. Then obviously they'll cover the post early, but late in this play, because we're running it on those hash mark, you're going to see that that seam streak is going to clear out all of the deep blue zones on that left-hand side. So this just gives you a lot of answers against a lot of different coverages. A lot of people like to play, cloud flats. And what's nice about this combination here is a cloud flat. You can still throw this flat, get a couple easy yards, even though they are playing a cover two. And this is specific to a cloud flat. It's not obviously going to work if they run like a soft squat or hard flat. But if you look out here and you have space, you could take that little quick flat, for a couple yards. Hopefully he catches the ball in the game. But generally speaking, if they're running a lot of cover two, then that means that your, running back will be wide open as well here. Let me just see if I can just throw this flat. But anyway, you have the flat as a threat, and then you also have, different things that they could do as a result. For example, let's say somebody's playing, some type of roll coverage like this, for example. And then over here, right, we're going to play real disciplined coverage. But the problem with this is the outside third or deep half on that side will typically let the running back basically free over the yellow zones. So we'll kind of show you this really unique spot. But as you see, like right in that little area, that defender's going to struggle to be able to defend that running back route. So let me show that to you one more time. Really, any form of cover two, pretty much, as long as the yellows are like shaded down. Any form of cover two with low yellow zones, this running back gets wide open over the top of. So you see here, right? See how those deep halves don't really defend him? And it just makes it so that they kind of have to play cover three to the right-hand side, which then, causes all kinds of other challenges. For example, let's say that they're playing cover three like this again. Then what you're going to be able to do. So yes, this guy will do a decent job of defending the running back, but now you have that middle of the field high-low read between your tight end and your return route. So they do a decent job over there, right? But you see how that tight end route can kind of hit. The best thing they can do is cloud flat over there. That will normally kind of help things. But anyway, if they do go man coverage, if you get a man-to-man coverage call with this, typically pretty standard, right? The tight end post is going to be your number one read. And for whatever reason, he ran his route very poorly there. Let me see if I can show you it. The tight end post is going to be kind of your number one read against man coverage. And then if he's not open, a lot of times your return route will be open for a possession catch right there. But most of the time, when somebody's going to mix in man coverage on you, they're not going to do as good of a job of defending this tight end route. This tight end route is normally a great man-beating route. And so you'll see right here, right? If he gets across his face, a lot of times it's going to be a great winner for you. Try to throw that one more time. Not getting great animations here. But we'll try it one more time. You see, gets that inside separation, and you get that nice rack catch, and it's going to do a good job of beating man. For the next setup, we play motion spot wide post out of the formation tight wide open or tight open. What we're going to do is we're going to essentially try to attack kind of the seam area of the field with this. So what we're going to do here is we're going to streak our slot receiver. We're going to return route our outside left receiver here. We're going to streak our running back, and then we are going to slot fade this little outside receiver here on the right side of the screen. And as far as the read progression that I want you to have on this play, really the main thing is we have this high-low over the middle of the field between the little return route and the post, but then we also have this kind of running back route. So it's going to get into some nice pockets that you're going to be able to be thrown. And then the slot fade is really just simply designed really to help kind of clear out both flat zones and deep zones with how it's going to run. So what you're going to see here is this running back route. It's kind of our first read on the play. If we can throw that in that little early spot, that's where we would like to hit that ideally. And then what they're going to have to do to stop that running back streak is they can either user it or they can shade down. But really both of those situations are going to kind of put the user in that down right side pocket. And so that's going to open up the throwing lane for this post right in this little window right here. And I mean, you see just a really nice open route. And then, you know, really the rest of the play, as far as how it develops is, you know, then they're going to be in kind of a situation where, let's say, you know, they do use the running back and then maybe they get a crazy switch stick onto the post or something. That's where this little return route, nice little dump down route, kind of your check down on the play. The streaks and the slot fades are really just more clear out routes, and you can throw them against like cover zero or something like that. But in general, you know, when it's like a base zone coverage, not really a huge opportunity to throw them. I will say though, you know, if you get like a cover two, but they don't have a middle third or a mid read or something, you know, this seam streak could be a whole shot type of throw that you can potentially hit. If you get like a cover three as well, you know, your seam streaks are going to be an opportunity here. So if we get something like this, you know, we can kind of throw him through the middle. So you want to at least look at it, but it's not like the main purpose of the play. And then if they're playing, you know, any kind of hard flat coverage or really any kind of coverage, typically this post will get over the top of most flat defenders in this game if you wait on this late. So that's why I love these short posts, because you can just throw them in so many windows, and, you know, it really breaks down defenses very, very well. Now, as far as man coverage on this play, there's a way to make this play a little bit better against man coverage. And what you can do is you can essentially take your slot fade here, and you're going to smart route him, and then you're going to stem him down one. So it looks like this. And then you're going to have your running back. So it kind of looks like this. So essentially, if it's like a man coverage and they're not pressing him, you can just throw this with an outside pass lead when he cuts to the outside. A lot of times the man coverage defender won't be able to defend it, and it will be a way that you can kind of manipulate cover zero. And then we obviously know about, you know, the seam streak against cover zero this year. You know, really a great route to be thrown. Let's see if we can hit it here. But typically the seam streak is going to be an option for you against cover zero. Just simply free-forming this to the left side. Didn't quite get exactly the bend on the ball that we would want, but in general, that's a route. If you wanted to, the other thing that you can do with this play is you could do slot fades on both sides. So if you wanted to do slot fades on both sides, you could do that. So if we think this play is not something that you would call against if you knew it was all out man to man, but it does have answers against man. But now you see here we can do kind of the corner route on both sides. Brown ran that really, really bad. Let me try to show that one more time. But you can do the slot fade on both sides here if you wanted to. That way they can't really user either one, because obviously you just throw the other one. So that is something that you could do on this play if you wanted to. If you wanted to use a slot fade as a clear out instead of a seam streak, then you could do that. You see that bend you get on the ball, and then assuming he catches it right, it's going to be open. So anyway, those are some of the answers that I have against man coverage on this play. Ultimately, the best answer against man coverage is just going to be the tight end on this post. It's just elite. It's a very, very good play to be able to attack man coverage. Shoot to that one more time here. Running back streak, not really a great answer against man this year. And then if the tight end doesn't get open, you can hit your return route. But a lot of times this tight end will get open. I was kind of surprised that he didn't right there. I'm going to show it one more time. We'll do a streak this time. Also, cover 2 man if they're not pressing you. You could throw that up the middle if they're shading down. And man coverage, that's why it's always good to have a streak on the play. It's always good to have a streak and a drag, in my opinion, on every play. But anyway, what you're going to see here is there's that tight end, wide open, and that's the money route on the play. That's the whole purpose of the play. For the next setup of the play, motion spot wide post, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be using a little bit of a different type of corner route here on the left-hand side. So we're going to seam streak or streak the slot receiver here on the left. We're going to corner out the outside left receiver here. And we're going to stem him down 1 time, so it looks like that. And then on the back side of the play, what I typically like to do with this play is a simple drag route to this kind of outside receiver. And then I like to run a running back either streak. You could do a running back streak. You could do a running back wheel. You could block the running back. You could do a running back flat. All of those are options with this play. Kind of an underrated option is the post, running back post, because what you can do with that is you can stem it up, and you'll see it gets a little bit more width than a traditional running back streak. But anyway, the main thing we're looking for is to hit this corner route on the left against any kind of cover 4 or cover 3 hard flat. What's nice about the spacing in this formation is an outside quarter doesn't really play this corner route, so you can throw that to the sideline with pretty, relatively pretty easily against any kind of cover 4 hard flat. That's going to be an answer for you. So you'll see here, boom. You see I kind of just a nice little back shoulder throw that does a really good job against cover 4 hard flat. Also cover 3 hard flat can do the same basic thing here. And then I'll talk a little bit about curl flats because you do need to be kind of aware of those with this play. But basically here you see, how it gets in that nice little pocket. This is what makes, I think, tight open one of the better offenses is that it's able to clear out thirds and quarters from, a compressed alignment. So anyway, now if you get let's say we get like a cover 4 or cover 3 curl flat, the curl flat will kind of play it at first, but he'll fall off of it very quickly. And if you're patient with the throw, you're going to be able to hit it. So let me just show that one more time. So if you get a curl flat, you got to understand that curl flat's going to fall off and go to the drag pretty early here, as you see. And then I can just throw this route. Mahomes is kind of selling me on these pass leads here, but see if we can actually make a throw. But this is cover 4 hard or curl flat, which would do the best job. And you see how you can kind of just get it in this nice little spot on the sideline that it's kind of hard you have to practice the throw a little bit, but you see there when you get that nice throw in the animation. So anyway, I love this play against cover 4, cover 3. If they do run a cover 2 here, this is, and we'll set them up with some other plays here. But if they do happen to run cover 2 here, sometimes the cloud will actually let him go, but he didn't right there. If the cloud doesn't let him go, this is why I like to drag this receiver here, because if you return route him, it's going to go a little too slow. And so by using the drag here, that cloud drops back. I can throw this underneath and get easy yards. So we're creating just a basic high-low there. Now, the post, honestly, on this play, the post is really more of a route that we're using to kind of hold the user. Because if the user does not user the post, let's say they kind of stay underneath here. If the user does not user the post, then obviously, of course, right, we still have that clear out streak, and we still have that throwing lane to be able to hit that short post in that little pocket. But if they do user the post, the other thing that's nice about this play is they can't really switch stick to the sideline, because if they switch stick to the sideline, then you're going to see the yellows go back to the post, and then this comes open right underneath it, or the yellows, come underneath super heavy, and then you're going to be able to hit the post. So if they switch stick to the left side to go take the corner, this hits real quick right in the middle. So it's very difficult for them to defend kind of both, which is, I think, what makes, you know, a hallmark of a good play. Now, the other thing about this is this gives you a little bit more of an answer in terms of how you want to attack man coverage. So obviously your short post is going to do a really good job of attacking man. But the other thing that's going to do a really good job of attacking man here is your drag route. So you'll see here, if they use the post, my drag route underneath does a nice job of being able to attack man. It'll attack press man, it'll attack off coverage man. It'll pretty much attack any kind of man coverage they want to play. This was also why I wanted to, you know, kind of show different things you could do with the running back here. Like an underrated route, if you're getting a lot of man coverage, it would be this corner route to the running back. What you'll see is if you get man coverage here, you see how you kind of get this natural bend on the route, and it does a really nice job of being able to beat man. So you can really do whatever you want with the running back. You can put him on a wheel, you can put him on an out, you can put him on a corner, really whatever you want with the running back. The other thing is against like an off coverage, man coverage. So I don't like this as much against press, but against like cover zero type, a lot of people like to use if they're doing something like this. I like this play a lot, this corner route on the left-hand side. So corner route on the left-hand side, you're going to see, because we stemmed him down just one time, he's going to run his route really uniquely, and a lot of times he'll actually beat him to the corner. He wasn't able to do that there, but that is something that you can have on this play situationally, depending a little bit on some factors. But bottom line is you want to at least look at it. If it's not there, obviously you want to get to your backside, your two best man beating routes, or you're dragging your post here. And then if you wanted to, if you knew it was man coverage, put the running back on a wheel, put the running back on something that they have to, you know, actually guard. If you just put him on a flat, a lot of times they'll have a hard flat. So by putting him on a wheel or something, you know, that can kind of isolate that. But there you see that time the corner route did what it was supposed to do, and we're able to attack man coverage that way as well. This is one of my favorite setups of a motion spot wide post, and the reason I think it's really good is because it's very horizontal, and it just allows us to attack some pockets that this formation specifically does a great job of attacking. So what we're going to do with the play is we are going to basically return route both of the outside receivers. So we're just going to return route both these outside receivers like this. And then what I like to do, in kind of up to you, but you could do one of two things. So first and foremost, automatically, you're always going to swing or table the running back. I like the swing on this specific play, okay? Then you have a choice. You can either put this guy on a flat like this, and this will work. And this is how I would normally set up the play. Or you could even run the play like this for you know, if you want to. But I want to show you why it's still good. So when you have these flats and return routes, the hook curls suck to the middle of the field big time this year. And you have this short post, which is a really, really good route, okay? So what you have here is you can throw these in these pockets. As you see there, cover for hard flat, shaded down. Even if I shade outside and underneath, these hook curls are not going to defend this. They're not going to defend this. So kind of same thing over here. You see how I can throw this in these pockets. It's very hard to guard this play in a short yardage situation. So this is one of my favorite like short yardage. If I just want like a baby dot, these are really, really good. As you see, cover two, see how those hooks really suck to the middle of the field. And again, even if I shade outside, it doesn't change that. So it's just a matter of how the hooks play. And so, you know, you can do it a couple different ways, but it's really just taking advantage of these return routes. And then if the yellow zones dive down super low and the user's super low to try to stop everything, then what you're able to do is you're able to hit this tight end over the top. So, you know, as you see here, tight end gets in a really nice spot. So that's why I like this play. Now, that being said, the variation of the play that I like, it's a little better against man when you do it this way, is to run this corner route. And if you want to, you can stem it down. So it's almost like a slant out. It's still going to pull the flat, and I'll show that. So like if it's cover for hard flat, you're still going to get this pull right there, and you're going to be able to hit that throw. So you're still going to get that aspect of the play, but it will take a little bit of an additional adjustment because you're going to have to stem this guy down. And the other thing about this is this will, what I like about this though, is that against man coverage, you have this quick hitting corner that can win against man coverage. So if they want to use the post, because the return routes aren't super, like they're good against man, but they're not like amazing against man. So, you know, they could basically use the post and then you kind of be cooked against man coverage. But when you have this corner route, let me go back to the play here. when you have this corner route here, a lot of times you'll see there's the corner, and then you have these check down return routes, right? So you have a couple answers, especially in a blitz situation. So like if they're blitzing you, they can't put a hard flat over there to really help them. So all they're going to be able to do is say, I'm going to use the mid read and take the post away. And so because of that, this is good pressure, but it's not good enough pressure to be able to counter this corner route unless they just, shade very good. But, to see how quick hitting that is. It's a super quick hitting corner, get it out quick, and you're able to attack in kind of a unique way. So it's one of my favorite plays for short yardage situations, just because it does such a good job. You could also motion the running back out wide like this and put him on something like a quick out or whatever. And then you'll see that the spacing kind of remains. What's nice about putting the running back in motion is it will give them the threat, right, of the fact that what most people do when they motion the running back out in this is they put the running back on a streak, right? Well, we wouldn't actually be doing that. What we would really be doing is probably honestly putting him on a flat. See if we can actually do that here. We'll just put him on a basic out route, but as you see here against like cover 2, now you see how this pocket just opens up super nice. So those little pockets are what we're calling this play to this specific setup of the play to be able to do, is to really attack those pockets here. Let me see if I put this on a swing. Yeah, so you see if you put him on a swing, it's a little bit more of a true flat route, so you got that, and then you got that little pocket right there. Super good route. The other thing about the corner route that is kind of cool is, let's say you get like a shaded down cover 4, cover 3. The corner route will pull a third to him or a quarter to him. So you see here, the quarter kind of goes horizontal, and then it allows the tight end to be able to get open. So another little nice kind of aspect of this play in terms of its capabilities of really attacking everything that they might want to do defensively. For the setup of the play, tight seams out of the tight open formation, we're going to be able to kind of flood the wide side of the field. So what we're going to do is we're going to take advantage of this slot fade. This slot fade on the right side, really both sides, really good for clearing out zones. And what I'd like to do with this play is we're going to corner out the outside right receiver here. We're going to stem him down one time. Now, in my opinion, you want to run this, like let's say we were on the right hash. You would flip this because you would want your running back on the side that you're flooding. I just think it makes the most sense that way. And you're going to flat the running back, and then you're going to drag this little slot receiver here. And then this little kind of C route, you can do one of two things. Number one, you could hot route him to anything else, a stemmed up curl, a crosser, a post, a deep in route, any of that stuff, or you could just stem him up once. So either way, what he's going to do is he's going to get into that like kind of high area in between the yellows and the deep blues. So that's where we want him to do attack. Now, as far as the read progression here, this fade is always our read first. Then we're going to get to the corner, the flat, the high-low between those two routes. And then we're going to get to the backside with the drag and the C route. So you're going to see here that this corner route will normally do a really good job. Now, what this does a great job against, and the whole point of the play, is if they run any kind of cover 2 on the wide side. So that's what this corner is really designed to attack. It's designed to attack a standard cloud flat. And then I'll talk about some of the other coverages. But what you'll see here is that cloud flat doesn't get back enough, and that slot fade does a great job of clearing out the deep half defender. And then as far as like cover 4 or cover 3, typically what we're looking to hit here, the curl flat defender can kind of get into a unique area of the field defensively. But if you're patient with this play, a lot of times you can actually hit this like right. See how we kind of hit it over there? Now, if they're curl flatting, by the way, you can easily just take your check down here. So not a huge deal. But this check down is available to you. But the other thing here is when they switch stick, which they will, depending on how they switch stick, this little like fade route is really interesting. It does some cool things. I'll show you. I'll kind of try to throw it here against cover 4. Sometimes it can pop it. You see how that outside quarter is not defending it? So let's say, for example, that you get a cover 3, or they get like a hybrid coverage, and this guy's in a middle third, right? Pretty common. Number one, if they hard flat, the corner route will be a lot more open, and I'll cover that in a minute. So the curl flat does a better job, but you'll see here, this is a pretty kind of unique route, the way that it runs. Anyway, and so just if they're switch sticking in that middle third to go down and guard the in route, that could be something that you have there. But what I want to hit at here is the hard flat. So if they are hard flatting, then your corner route you'll see here will do a much better job of getting open to the sideline. Just cannot. Mahomes has just been awful. Might be done using the Chiefs to do videos because kind of over Mahomes is I don't know what's going on with him, but he just can't throw the ball. But you see there, that's what we're trying to do. So you see that little window right in that little pocket there. That's where you're looking to throw the ball. Okay. Now, if they don't hard flat, you have one of two options. You can either just take the flat, or what I like is the flat will kind of clear out this little pocket right here. And I like to take that route right there. That's a great little route against any kind of cover four. Now, if they shade down and they curl flat, which is, kind of an advanced adjustment, we'll take a look at what this looks like here. But number one, your backside in will be open. And then number two here, you see how the yellow does a much better job of playing that. So in that situation, you might just want to take your running back route. Okay. Now, let's talk about the backside of the play with this little unique route over the middle. So by stemming him up once or twice, he'll run a lot deeper. And so you'll see he'll kind of just do like a wraparound in route almost and gets into a nice area of the field against that defense. So nice little option here. Another variation of the same thing, right, would be to do something like this. I like this a lot against man. It would be to have this, whoops, I didn't realize I checked out of the play somehow. It would be to do something like this. And so the reason I like this a little bit more is the in route gets a lot deeper, and then it's much better against man coverage because this press animation the only thing that can stop a drag is press man. And the press animation can't really, you see how it kind of gets mucked up, and then this becomes wide open against man coverage. It's just a very easy route to hit against man. So anyway, that's an option. And then as far as the C route type in route, how does that run against man coverage? It runs just fine. Your corner route should be pretty good against man. And then also you see how that in route does a nice job, gets pretty nice separation against man coverage as well. So you just have answers on this play for pretty much everything that they're going to do. But again, the primary purpose, if I was going to say why would I call this play, it's primarily for cover two. And the reason being is because the cover two will not get enough depth to be able to properly defend this. Then they have to Mabel, and then the whole middle of the field is open at that point. So anyway, that's the whole point of this formation or this play. This setup of the play drives stutter flat. What we're really looking to accomplish, and the main purpose of this play, is that it has a short corner on this left side receiver. And it's helpful because you have a short corner on the left side receiver, the short corner on the slot receiver, and then you have a short corner on this right side receiver. So you have a lot of short corners in this formation. Now, what I think makes this ultimately a really, really good option is really kind of more so using this specific variation of the offense as a man-to-man combination. It can attack cover, it can attack zone coverage as well, but I do think it's better as a basic man beater. So how are we going to run this play? So the way that I like to run the play is we're going to take advantage of this short corner here. And what I like to do, really simple, we're going to do a stemmed up curl on this slot. So we're going to curl him, stem him up one. We're going to curl the tight end, stem him up one. And then we're going to literally just call hike. If you want to put the running back on a wheel, be my guest. If you want to put the running back on a corner, be my guest. If you want to put the running back on a flat, be my guest. But I don't think you need to. I think ultimately this play is really good like this. One thing is kind of cool. Whoops, I messed up my motion here. Let me put this guy back over here. One thing that you can also do that's kind of cool is you can motion the running back. Guess I lied. I guess you can't fight good. But anyway, all right, take a look here. So you got this short corner. It's going to do a really good job. It's going to get separation, consistent separation against man and zone, which is why I like it. And it also will beat a hard flat. It won't beat a curl flat, but it will beat a hard flat. So if they're hard flatting you, this is going to be a really, really good combination. So you see their hard flat. And of course, as I say that it will beat a hard flat, it did, for whatever reason did not there. Let's see if we got, see if we can get this thing to work. So you see here outside, I guess it doesn't beat a hard flat. It's actually crazy. If we ran this to the wide side, so let's say the ball was over here, this would beat a hard flat. So if you know, if they're doing that a lot, then yeah, you could do it like this and get the same like thing. But normally, right, they're not going to be doing a hard flat for a lot of reasons because of our tight end slants and things like that. But as you see, that time gets more space to run over the flat defender. But in general, I've seen it beat a hard flat a lot in games, so kind of surprised. I guess it probably just depends on where that guy's at. You know, for example, like if it's 3-3 odd, if it's a formation like 3-3 odd like this, and they're trying to do hard flats, it's kind of difficult to do that. You kind of have to use this middle linebacker like this. So anyway, bottom line is this is going to be pretty good against blitz as well. What makes this really good against a blitz is both of these curls will work, and then with the blitz, you're not going to have the ability to put any help over there, so it really isolates that route. So it's really good against man blitz in that regard. If you get like a cover 4 hard flat or something, the hard flat adjustment here will do a good job of hitting that, but then you can hit those curls, because typically when they hard flat, that means you're going to get shaded down yellows. Now, if they don't do a shade down yellow, then what you're going to get here, so let's say it's just a basic cover 4, cover 3, or cover 2, the drag route will just get in a really nice spot underneath, right in this little pocket. The corner route will pull the flat out, the verticals will pull the yellows back, and so they basically have to put their hooks on 5 to stop this. And then if they do put their hooks on 5 to stop this, you're just going to choose one of these curls. They do such a good job this year of just kind of being both man beaters and zone beaters. So also beats man coverage. Even in a situation where you get like a shade down, if you throw this on time, a lot of times this will beat man as long as you throw it on time. You might get a KO, but generally speaking, the curls are really, really good routes this year to have against man coverage. And most of the blitzes are not going to get home fast enough to actually be able to block it. One of the reasons why I like to leave this running back on his route is because if it is a blitz, the running back will block. And then if there's not a blitz, he'll release to the flat. So he's not really that important on the play, to be honest. Like the flat's not a very, like putting the running back on a flat on this play doesn't really do much for you, honestly. So by having him like this, you know, then if they do blitz, you're in a good spot. And if they don't blitz, you're in a good spot. Also, if they blitz out of zone. So, you know, let's say they do a coverage that's pretty standard coverage, you know, to blitz against zone. So it would look something like, you know, sending pressure here, maybe sending pressure here, and then having, you know, these zones right here, right? Pretty standard, right? Okay. So what we're able to do with this play is the running back will normally block whoever, you know, if you ID or whatever. The bottom line being, you really can attack zone blitzes very well with this play because you've got both schemes attacked and you have that outside flat area of the field attacked with the corner route, and that corner route also beats man. So this play is not something you call every play, but it's a great mix and play that just does a lot for the formation as a whole in its ability to pick up and attack pressure. For this setup of the play spot X option out of the gun tight open formation, we're going to be taking advantage of the short corner route as well as the table route. So what we're going to be doing with this play is we are just simply going to take the tight end here and we're going to put him on a streak. We're going to then put the slot receiver here on a drag route, and then we're going to take this outside left receiver here, and we're going to put him on a deep in route. So we're going to put him in route. We're going to step him up at least 3 times. You could do 4 as well. So do 3 times. So you see you get a pretty good depth on that route. And the main purpose of this play is really to attack kind of this right sideline of the area of the field, which we don't really normally do out of this formation. So it's a good combo for that. And as far as read progression, we're going to look at the seam streak first. Then we're going to get to the high-low between the corner and the flat. So always look at that seam streak first. If that's covered, really want to get to this high-low right there. That corner route is really the route we want to hit. Let me see if I can actually hit it here. And what you'll see is if we get an accurate throw, gets in that nice pocket, the outside quarter doesn't really play the route properly. And so you're able to, just kind of have a nice read there to be able to attack kind of cover 4. And then as far as if they run like a curl flat or cover 3 curl flat or cover 4 curl flat, you'll see that typically the curl flat will actually do a pretty good job, as you see right there. But because we're running this flat and we're running the drag route, you're going to have kind of 2 opportunities here to be able to hit a check down. So you'll see this guy backs up pretty far, right? So we can just take this simple check down to the back, Or the other thing that we could do here is we could take this check down to the drag route. You'll see that the streak clears out the yellow, the running back clears out the flat, and then there's this little nice pocket to be able to hit that drag and kind of take that that area of the field. And then if they shade underneath on their coverage, then we're going to be able to hit this deep in route over the middle. So the yellows are down. You'll see here late in the play, that deep in route gets in a nice area of the field. The tight end does a great job. It's hard to switch stick that because the tight end is really running off the deep blues. And if they do switch stick that, typically they'll leave something else open. So they'll typically leave open the corner or something, something else over there on that side. So anyway, this is a great little play here, and I can't stress enough how good this little drag route is right in that little pocket. And then the other thing about it, kind of depending a little bit on how they run it. If they run cover two, the other thing about this is if they do run a cover two, obviously if they hard flat, the corner will be open. But if they don't hard flat, if it's a cloud, I love the running back route. I think that you can get 5 to 7 yards. And in this year's game, with how offense is, if you just are playing disciplined ball and you just take the underneath when they give it to you, it's really helpful. And I'm just a big believer in that. Right here, look out there, quick, turn that upfield, break a tackle, and just a good route. So another reason why I like this formation, and another reason why I like this play, is this is going to do a really good job against cover two man. It's going to do a good job against cover two man for a couple of reasons. So what makes this really good against cover two man is if they're not in dollar, they can't press the tight end. So if it's a nickel set or something like that, and if you don't press the tight end out of cover two man and you streak the tight end, normally this tight end, you'll see he'll kind of get on top, and you can throw this to the inside and have a little bit of a window there. We'll show that one more time, see if we can get a little bit better of an example. But basically, it's really, really difficult for them to press the tight end. And then the corner route will actually pull the deep halves out of the middle of the field. So normally, this corner route on the right will pull this guy out. There you see he gets that big step. And actually, the deep half did okay. But just something to know, if the deep half, if there is a little bit more of a window there, to hit that is a good route to throw against shade down man, depending on how they want to do it. And then the other thing that I like about this in terms of like man coverage in general is if you get this kind of man coverage, this short corner does a really good job. As you see, I love the short corners against man. That's really their primary function. And in an offense like this, I will say it's so good against zone, you're going to get some man coverage. So you want to be prepared for that, and this little play is a great job of doing that. Even if they press and man, a lot of times he will win. There he didn't. He took an outside leverage release, but we're able to come backside and work that high-low between the drag and the in routes. Really have 3 winners typically against man coverage. Your corner route will win, your drag route will be very, very good, and then your outside bunt or outside left receiver on the in route normally can be a great route as well. There you see he gets a little bit better bend, but Sertan is also really good in man coverage. But if you had like a better matchup there, which in Mutt you'll have a better matchup there because both receivers, you'll have a great receiver against a great corner, so it'll be good on good. But a lot of times that short corner works, just not working here. But anyway, we can take that check down to the drag route, and then I'll show you here on the left side. Like this is the same type of short corner on the left hand side pretty much, and you'll see here that if this guy runs his route, well, kind of got bagged, but he actually won. So anyway, you can have those 2 options, those corner routes. And if you're getting a lot of man coverage, I think a better setup for this play, if you're getting a lot of man, would be something like this or something like this. Like this is a really good setup against man. Not very good against zone. You don't have the clear out, but the drag route gets super open. And yeah, I just am such a big believer in having a drag route on the field because drags are so good against man coverage. An alternate setup too, by the way. Again, this is a little better for man because you're going to take advantage of the stack here. You could do something like this, and it's basically the same play, right? You're just flipping who's on the in route, but look how much more open the drag route gets against man. Just gets great separation against any kind of man coverage, and it's just a little variation, but it can make a big difference in the offense. For the setup of the play mesh spot, we're going to be using this primarily as a really just as a man-to-man kind of killer, and a couple of different ways in which we can go about doing that. But what I think makes this a really, really good combination is just the fact that it's a double drag play. And I think double drags are really good against man. And I also think that double drags are not only good against man, they're good against zone as well, especially if you open up the pockets to be able to throw them. So what I like to do with the play, can kind of do a couple different variations of the play depending on how you want to run it. I really like to just simply flat this guy. And the reason why is because I think it makes it really good against man coverage. Now, you could even have 2 flats on the play if you wanted to. This would make it kind of crazy against zone. But in general, I think the deep in route is perfectly fine. So anyway, the main thing here is looking for the double drags. The double drags just do a really good job of being able to break down man coverage consistently. Now, the other thing that you could do with this play is you could run a pick. And the way that you would run a pick is you would take this tight end, you would put him on a flat, and then you would take the outside guy and put him on a drag. So it looks like this. And you'll see it'll create kind of a natural little pick and rub. And then it makes the mesh much, much more open. You still get the flat route. So, up to you how you want to do that. That's either way, I think it's fine. One is, you can have one with a shorter hot route, one with a fast one. So the other thing is, what about this kind of man coverage? So when they go cover 0 like this, and they have 2 flats, this is very popular. And what I like to do here, I just think this does a good job of being able to attack it. As you see this wheel route, let me show you that a little bit better. If I got a little bit better pass lead, this would have been a touchdown. But I would say it's really difficult for them in man coverage to consistently guard this wheel, because as you see, especially like a blitz look, a lot of times he can just run away from the man coverage player. And we could throw it a little bit earlier as well. Yeah, reset that. But basically here you see, like if they get blitz, this thing gets wide open quick. So they have to put the linebackers on different types of zones. And a lot of people like to do that in cover 0. And again, everybody's cover 0 is a little different in terms of how it's hard to predict exactly what they're going to do. But just know that this wheel, it does a really good job against cover 0. So it's one of the reasons why I like to keep it on the play, because, you get them chasing like that, and then, you're going to be able to get a touchdown. So the other thing about this is, any kind of like cover 1 robber type of coverage. So that would look something like this, cover 1 robber type coverage. Typically what will happen is one of these drags will just completely roast. So you see there, and that's why I like to have double flat routes. And I'll talk a little bit about that, but that's why I love to have double flat routes, because when you have double flats, the hard flat can't really do anything. But the thing I did want to show you is this in route. Typically this in route as well. Look at how open that running back is. If I can get a nice that's crazy how open that is. But the in route does a good job against man coverage as well. And then by having the flat, what happens is the flat route or the flat zone will pull to the outside. So that's where, your backside stuff becomes a lot more open. So the flats do a good job of kind of creating space to be able to throw the other stuff. And then let's say that, and if they're sending 4, which most people do send 4, if they're sending 4, it's really hard to defend this. But there you see, there's that tight end drag. If they don't have a hard flat on both, they have to basically have a hard flat on both sides. They have to have a yellow on the right side. And then if they do all that, normally the running back is going to be wide open, because you literally have to have, 2 flats here. The user has to kind of work from this drag back up to this guy here. And you just see, right, how hard it would be to defend this. And again, it's just a simple man beating play. Now, it does have some answers against zone coverage as well. But as you see there, the in route was wide open over the middle. So in terms of zone coverage, I think cover 4 is kind of the most prominent one. But what you'll get here is this running back can be kind of thrown in the middle of those zones. It's a tight throw. It's a throw that I would definitely want you to practice a little bit. But this running back can kind of be thrown like right in that little seam area. And sometimes he'll get KO'd, but it's a nice pocket to be able to throw the ball in. We'll see here if we can kind of get it right there. And that quarter is doing a really good job. But normally this will be a little more open. And then if you know it's zone, you can also do this, right? So watch what happens when I do the slot fade. You see how it clears that guy out. And then now you can kind of throw it in that area. So it's an option as well. And then if they don't shade, it's a lot more open, as you see. So if I'm not shading underneath, it's a lot more open in that window. So anyway, and then the other thing is obviously your double drags, right? So if they don't shade, the double drags will be wide open. Now, when they have two yellows like that, one of them has to be the user. So when the user bails out of this, the other element of this is your backside in route gets in that nice spot right behind the yellow zones. Okay. Other thing that I wanted to show you with this play is cover two. So with cover two, you see this is a really good job. The hooks get pulled inside and you're able to actually attack cover two in a really unique way, right? Right in that little area. So that's a great throw to have against any kind of zone coverage. It really will help you situationally against zone, have some answers. And then, you know, again, if they're shading down, that backside in route is a great little route to have late in the play. For the setup of the play spacing out of the gun tight open formation, what we're going to be doing here is we're going to be taking the tight end, putting him on a slant. We're going to take the left side inside slot receiver. We're going to put him on a in route, and we're going to stem that in route up at least 3 times. You could even do 4 times, but you want a super deep in route here. And then we're going to take this outside receiver on the right side and put him on a return route. So this is what the play art is going to look like. And the read progression on this play is we're really looking to the flats first. Then we're going to work this kind of middle of the field high-low between the slant and the in route, and then the return route is kind of our late read. So I always like to look at these flats. If they're there, we take them. If not, we're going to be able to take that little return route right in that little pocket there. What's nice about these flats, having flats on both sides like this, they're going to do a really good job of clearing out when your opponent goes like with a cover 4 hard flat or something like that. You see that gets in there, but notice how that slant kind of gets into a different position because the flat route pulls that defender to him, and you're able to hit that route. So again, you're going to do a deep in route, a slant route, a return route, and then this also kind of changes the picture a little bit on who's on the in route or the post. Normally, the tight end is going to be the guy on the post, but in this case, it's this guy right here, and they could basically just read this like a slot streak. But in reality, it's, basically a smash return type of concept. Now, in a situation where you got like a cover 2 where you're getting cloud flats, what's nice about this is this running back flat route. It's going to do a good job of getting up the field. It's a little bit different than a table route. As you see here, that's the table. And you see this one cuts a little bit different. So it's just going to run very nice and horizontal for the play. And it's going to provide really, really good spacing for everything that we want to do here. Put the return route. We put the deep in route like this. And then if they do shade underneath with their yellow zones, then you're going to be able to hit this in route over the top. So you'll see here, assuming they don't switch stick that in route, crazy sheds there by the D line. But this deep in route is going to be a great opportunity here. Pass laid that down and inside. And you see how the deep zones aren't going to play it. So yeah, yes, can they switch stick that? 100% they can switch stick that. But the problem is if they do switch stick that, then your slant flat is going to get wide open because the slant flat has to be switch stick. So you'll see here, gets in a nice pocket. And that's why I like to run that in route relatively deep to get the defenders cleared out. So, again, if we did this is a curl flat out of a cover 4, and you're going to see here that he still clears a curl flat. So it's just a great late read to have on this play. This play is one of my go-to plays for man because what a lot of people like to do in man is they will put 2 hard flats on the field. And so if they do put 2 hard flats on the field, that is kind of playing into the hands of this play because what you're going to see is that is going to do a really good job of getting separation, as you see. Very clean separation in that situation. And that hard flat can't really play it. Same is true, as I said, for a curl flat. So if they're running any kind of curl flats on the play, this is not going to really be able to stop this as well because that flat pulls that curl flat out of the way. And then you see there's this little opportunity to be able to hit this tight end. So that tight end slant is a really, really important aspect of this offense because the only thing that really defends it is a cover 2. And then there's a lot of problems if they want to run cover 2 on that side. So you see here against a cover 2, yes, that cloud flat will kind of defend it, right? Late, there might be a little window, but generally speaking, the cloud will do a good job of defending that. But that gives up a lot of other things within the confines of the offense. If they run any kind of like cover 2 man or anything like that, this running back flat route, like I said, it runs super flat. A lot of times that can be a great read for you to have against any kind of man-to-man. So you have that going for you on this play. The other thing that you have here is your deep in route and your slant. Slant's going to be hard to stop in man coverage. You see, just completely destroys the defender, and Pat Mahomes sails the throw. But this is a really, really good combination against man. And then if they user that, then typically what you'll have here is the return route or the in route will be wide open for you to be able to attack man coverage. So also, if you ever get blitzed, like let's say you're getting, for example, like 3-3-5 type of pressure where it looks something like this, and they're over here with their user, right? Your running back is going to destroy this blitz. So you'll see here, right? Because you run so flat, it's wide open, it's a quick throw, and it's just a great way to be able to kind of attack that blitz. So that is something that, you know, you want to just take advantage of. If they're ever sending heavy pressure on you, this is a great play, because this quick throw to the running back here normally will do a really good job of being able to just out leverage the pressure. So the run game out of the tight open, there's a lot of things that you can do, but ultimately I think it's relatively straightforward. Not really a running formation. You have a lot of good formations in this to run, but what I would do is really the speed option is probably the best one. And the reason why it's so good is because you can flip this run. So you can run it left or you can run it right by Playmaker with the Playmaker feature. So just kind of keeping that in mind. What we're going to do, run right. You're just reading this defender. If he runs to the running back, then you go ahead and key with the quarterback. If he goes to quarterback, then obviously you pitch it to the running back. So you see here, hit that L button, you can pitch it. And it's just a good run. It gives you just a threat, you know, multiple directions. You can run it left, you can run it right. And it's basically just almost like an outside zone type of run. When you run it to the left, as you see, the speed option aspect, the actual running back pitch aspect is a little bit different, you know, as you see here, because he's behind him. So what you can do is you can run like horizontal like this, attract the defense, and then pitch it out like that. And as you see, you know, it becomes a much better of a run threat. I think one of the most slept on things about speed option is flipping it and then running straight forward like this as like a quarterback blast. Quarterbacks don't really fumble, so it's a great threat of a run play. You also have the regular, just good old fashioned inside zone. Inside zone is really, really good. What you can also do with this play is you can untarget defenders. So what you can do is you run inside zone, you're going to untarget the backside DN just like this, and now you're going to get just a better seal on the blocks. It's harder to shoot the gap, and it's a good inside zone. It's a good run. You also have in this a read option. So the read option where you're just going to key on that defender. What I would go ahead and do is untarget that backside linebacker like that. And then we're just going to really 100% just read it. Now, what you want to do is to keep the ball with the quarterback, you're going to hold the X button, and to hand it off, you're just going to let the game basically hand it off. So see, I'm going to read this defender. I see he stands up. I'm just going to let the game hand it off by not hitting anything. And it effectively becomes an inside zone. And then, you know, as I read this through, if they ever give me, you know, an opportunity to keep with the quarterback, I have the opportunity to be able to do that. So what I like about the read option run is just that it gives you multiple threats. The defense effectively can't be right, although there are ways to obviously stop the read option. I would say the read option is not as good as the inside zone and not as good as the speed option, but it does give you the threat of having almost like a quarterback wrap type of situation. These quarterback runs are so good in this year's game. For speed option, you can also, I forgot to mention, you can cut it up straight forward just like this as well. One of the best things you can do, I think, though, is cut up field like this and then pitch it out late. And that pitch is, you know, it's super good because you're attracting the run fits and everything to you, and then you're pitching it out and you get just a lot of space to be able to work. So I love speed option. I think speed option is really, really, really effective. The last run I wanted to highlight is the halfback draw. The reason I wanted to highlight it is because you can slide protect, and you can, you know, slide protect to whichever side that you want to run it on. Not great against an all-out blitz, but it is a good run in general. And, you know, you'll see here, you know, pretty good blocking, and you can cut through it really easily. So I do like the halfback draw as well. It's a nice run to mix in. I think ultimately the best bang for your buck run is the inside zone, just because it's a quick hitter. If they're ever giving you a look for it, you know, you're able to you know, get a couple yards out of that. I also love the speed option just because it gives you a lot of, it just gives you a lot of options there. But as you see, if they don't actually attract to the quarterback and they play the running back, then you are susceptible to that. But, you know, what's nice is look at how, I mean, you see how good this run can be. Like, it can be a very, very effective run for you. So I would, if I was running speed option, I'd really want to run more of the quarterback run first. I don't really want to pitch the ball, right? I want to run the quarterback run first and force them to have to stop the quarterback run. If they are going to consistently do that, then I have the ability to hit that other way. So, and the other thing with the halfback draw is you could run it almost like a cutback run. So you could cut right to the right quick. And as you see, you're able to threaten the whole line of scrimmage. So this is the red zone play that I like out of the tight open. This is motion spot wide post. And the way that I like to run this in the red zone is we're going to do 2 return routes on the outside. So kind of like that. We're going to do a swing to the running back, and then we're going to do a slant to the left side slot receiver. So it's a really good 2-point play. I'm going to first go over like cover 3, cover 4 drop with hard flats, and then we'll talk about the rest of it. So the return routes are really, really good against cover 3, cover 4 drop with hard flats. So what you're going to see here is you don't need a pull route for this. It's just going to get in this really nice spot. And you notice here, we'll just take a look at the replay. And what you'll see is that this hook zone, because of the slant, the hook zone is going to get pulled super far inside. And then the flat, you don't really even need a pull route for flats. They just don't play very well against routes like that. So as you see, that gets open. And then over here, kind of same basic thing, right? You see how that hook gets pulled in super far inside, and then you're able to hit this in the back end of the play right here. So anyway, really, really good play down here against cover 3, cover 4. If they do go cover 2 hard flat, this is where we're looking primarily for this post. Now this post route, what I would suggest with it is you see how it's going to kind of run a little wonky. If we let it go to the back of the end zone, see how it just runs like super sharp horizontal across. So what you're really looking for is you're looking for the user to basically switch stick off of these yellows to try to go guard one of the return routes. That's why we have return routes on both sides, because basically whichever side they go to, you throw the other one, essentially, right? And so because the return routes are so good, and I'll talk about them against cover 2 in a minute, the user oftentimes vacates the middle of the field, and there's these little holes that we could throw between in the back end of that end zone. Another really popular coverage down here is the cover 2 with 2 curl flat zones. So if they were to do something like this, it's even more open, and I'll explain. So what you'll get here is the curl flats really fan to the outside even more so. So you see how open that tight end gets in the back of the end zone. Now I want to give you an example where the user is going to play the tight end. So that would look, practically speaking, like a deep zone, and then I'll even cross-man him to show. A lot of people send 4, in this game, so typically you're not going to get a send 3. If you do get a send 3, though, you will have openings. So basically, if they go user that defender, number 1, your return route is wide open, as you see right there. But number 2, what's really cool about the slant route is the slant route is going to get open. So again, it's a little bit of a thing to kind of show here, but I'm going to deep blue this guy, and I'm going to just run it like that. But just assume that like there's one player that's going to the tight end, basically. What typically will happen here is there's a window. It's a tight window, but it is a window late to hit the slant. So what you'll do is you'll wait on this, and you'll see right there's a nice window to hit that slant. Now that window is still there if they do the curl flat thing. So if they want to do 2 curl flats here and a middle zone that's devoted to defending the tight end, that's one thing. But what you'll see here is if I wait on this, there's a little pocket. It's a little bit tighter on this one, but there is a little bit of a pocket to be able to throw this into. It's just I need that. I don't know if I put the running back on a swing. The running back has to pull the curl flat. And what you're looking for here, kind of right in that little, it's kind of tight by that hook. It's actually just after that throw. So this is like a super adjusted cover 2 where they're 100% committing to take the post. Your return routes are going to be there, by the way, and I'll show that real quick. So you see, right, return routes there, and I just possession catch that. And if I get that dive down animation, it's going to be really successful. And then the return route is also there on the other side. So even though I'm in a cover 2, right, the return route should be there on both sides. So you'll see here, the hook goes inside, right, and then that's open in a pocket. So it's what makes tight open, I think, such a good money formation is you have, stuff like this that you have answers to. But anyway, as far as like throwing the slant, I will say it's the hardest throw to make. So I don't think you'll really ever realistically have to make it, but it's kind of like right there. As you see late in that play, the curl flat kind of pulls down and then this gets open. Now, another thing that a lot of people like to do in the red zone is play cover 2 man. So basically just press man to man, and I'll actually press this guy up. But essentially what you're going to get here, you're going to have so many answers against that. But normally what it is, it's going to be cover 2 man, and it's going to be like shaded down hard flats like this. Normally is what you're going to have. Your slant and post both are going to win. So your slant and post should both be answers against that, and basically it's just whoever they don't use her. So as you see, the slant is open, and then the tight end also will be open. Show you that real quick. So got the hard flats on the field, and then you'll see that the post runs horizontal. So you see how he sharply cuts horizontally, gets leverage on the man coverage defender, and that gives you a really good answer down in the red zone if you ever need a red zone dot for a two-point conversion. Great money passing concept in this game.